you know the discussion we are having is not a discussion about a party being in opposition and saying that we don't trust the EC. I've heard a lot of people say in their defense for the EC and MPP say that anytime a political party is in the position, they have issues with the EC, and we saw these things in 2016 when the MPP said that the EC was not trustworthy and all that. I want to put on record, and I want viewers to journey with me, that what the NDC is complaining about, for which reason on Tuesday we will be hitting the street in all 16 regions, is not because we are in opposition and we are trying to create disaffection for the EC. We've had, at least I'm very young, but I experienced an Afarijan Electoral Commission. I experienced Charlotte Osei's Electoral Commission. And I'm experiencing Jane Mensah, and I think that Bosman Asari is even more influential than Jane Mensah in this commission. And I'm experiencing the Jane Bosman Commission. What we are experiencing are high levels of recklessness calculated to destroy the very fabric of our democracy under the guise of negligence. You know, in the past, anytime political parties raise concerns, what the Electoral Commission did was to listen to the political parties, and then a reform is carried out. I vividly recall when, even in Afarijan's time, the MPP said that they wanted a biometric registration so that issues of duplications and triplications and quadruplication, for want of a better expression, can be dealt with. Mr. Afarijan obliged them, and any time they had raised any issues, even at IPAC, the NDC is on record to have supported the call for a free and credible election, and that is why we had a biometric registration and subsequently a biometric register. In 2016, the MPP complained about the register and said that, led by Baumia, who is one of the loose talkers we've ever had in this country, make all sorts of baseless allegations against the EC. Then, however baseless the allegations were, in fact, they called for a forensic audit because they believed that they never believed in the 2016 register. Charlotte Osei obliged them, knowing very well she had nothing to hide. The NDC never opposed that forensic audit. And so all parties were present and participated in that audit. And we went into the 2016 general election and the NDC lost and we handed over power. At the time the MPP was making the call for the forensic audit, Senna, they had no single name and single basis to say that Beatrice Annan, Solomon Owusu, or whoever was not supposed to be on the register but is on the register. They could not provide the Electoral Commission with one such name, or that ABCD had been done with some specific details for the EC to even say that, oh, we've checked our system, it is true or it is false. All they kept doing was making very sweeping statements like the voter register is not credible, like we don't believe in the EC, that we have basis to say that this EC will not be fair. Those were the things they were doing. And to the extent that they did not believe in the EC, in a democratic process, they had everywhere, even when the NDC challenged them and said that, what is your basis for saying that the voter register was not credible? They could not provide us with a single name. They only said people came from Togo and that Votarians were not Ghanaians enough and that they had affiliations with people in Togo, and some of the names, when you see them, they look like Togolese names, even without providing us with basis. But they were allowed to have a forensic audit, because in any case, when there is a voter registration, you had all the political parties coming. It is the belief that if the elections are free and fair, there will be no fight. It is the belief that when people have trust and confidence in the EC, and so parties over the years can raise concerns. What the EC has done is to listen to the concerns, and sometimes, however unmeritorious those concerns may even appear, just do what the parties want, because integrity and confidence are premised on perception. And it is enough that the people perceive that something is wrong. If there is nothing wrong, I mean, you give the people the opportunity to satisfy themselves. And then we have traveled the path and have come to the Jane Mensah Electoral Commission. Let the record also reflect that for the past 8 years, there has not been a single electoral reform. Under President Rawlings, there were electoral reforms on the basis of call by parties. Under President Mills, there were electoral reforms. Under President Mahama, there were electoral reforms. But what we are seeing is a stagnation. The NPP believing that the tactics they used in 2016 ought to be maintained at all costs, even at the peril of the lives of the citizen, so that in the face of the mismanagement, the excruciating hardship, the many things that Ghanaians are choking on, they would not even allow Ghanaians to have the fundamental right to choose who to govern them. And that I can promise the NPP and the EC, that we will resist this with every might in us, because we owe it a duty to the Ghanaian people. And President Mahama has been speaking about it, that in the 2024 elections, what happened in 2020 would not repeat itself, even at the peril of our lives. Because we cannot continue to do the things we find ourselves doing. You see, ordinarily, I want viewers and listeners everywhere to know that this is not just a call by the NDC because we are in opposition, or that we just had a mirage of mistrust for the Electoral Commission. This mistrust is founded on very solid grounds and basis. First of all, this is the only Electoral Commission which is constituted by card-bearing members of the NPP. You have Bosman Asari, who is more NPP than the cleaner at the NPP's headquarters, who has openly said that the NDC is a threat to Ghana's democracy. One of the most reckless, loose, and most useless statements any electoral commissioner worth his salt would make. Dr. Bosman Asari, I don't even know the words to use to describe him. I don't think that he even deserves to be a lecturer at Legon in the first place, and not to be carried as an electoral commission. It's so disgusting. So disgusting that the NPP had to put him there to satisfy their whims and caprices, because they had to remove Charlotte Osei, who will not succumb to any political party's pressure. Then they brought in Etiahini. Is it Apiahini or Etiahini? Solo school communicator until he joins the alliance. Who is a known MPP communicator, like I'm wearing my beautiful NDC shirt today? I qualify to be an EC in the past. I mean the future. I qualify to be an EC.
Annan, who is president? Annan. They will be appointed.
No, it is the levels of lowness that our country has descended to. In very recent times, they are adding either wives of party people, children of party people, or some way, somehow, it just has to be an MPP person. When you hear the Electoral Commission speak, sometimes you ask whether they sleep on pillow. In the 2 days ago, when they held the press conference, listen to what the man who was in charge of the elections at the time was telling us that, oh, in the 2016 register, there were animals and plants on the register. My goodness. I'm sitting on Miss Uncle Kwesi Pratt's chair. Maybe I should be using some of his expression. Who did this to us? I mean, are those people, are they sound mentally? And the MPP are happy, not thinking of how stupid that statement is, that Nanado was elected by plants and animals. My mother would say, you think you are doing me? You are doing yourself. And so the first basis is the fact that they have appointed MPP people into the commission. And so they are there not thinking as right-thinking members of society. They are thinking like party foot soldiers. What can we do? What can we do to maintain our party? The second basis is that this EC started long ago to aid the MPP to rig the 2024 election. They deliberately gave out biometric registration kits to people to engage in illegal registration. They thought the NDC will not have any intel. The moment the NDC said that, there are biometric registrations which are in the hands of individuals, which are being used in ways that has the potential to compromise the integrity of the voter register. James Adukwe Mensah and Bosman Asari said never. That the EC itself has a very robust system. I mean, the most abused words by this EC is robust. Perhaps they should find other synonyms. We have a very robust system, and that nobody could ever do that. The NDC was just being paranoid, and the NDC was just doing this, and they came out. Kweku Sibro, with all the grammatical errors he could manage, was on air saying everything he could say, and then we presented them with the evidence. What did the EC say? Oh, maybe they were stolen. I'm sure that we will investigate and find out. Oh, we have reported the matter to the police. Now the NDC was vindicated. So that is the second thing. Now the third thing is that we started asking for the provisional register way before. They said, oh, we have a time frame within which we will supply it. And you know what they did? If the voter exhibition was to be conducted tomorrow, they gave us the provisional register in the afternoon, late afternoon today, believing that the NDC would not see, because even the exhibition was to take just 3 days or 4 days. I think 3 days or so. So by the afternoon they gave to us, and the fact that many people would not go and check during the exhibition, I mean, they were likely to get away with it. So what did they do? They started the exhibition. And let me say that the voter register they gave to the NDC officially was fundamentally different from the voter register they were exhibiting. So that was the first basis. That they gave the NDC something, and they give another register to their regional officers and all the district officers to exhibit, in the hope that the NDC will not see, or that even if you see, what will be your basis for comparison? Would it be the voter register as was given to you by the EC, or the voter register as is being exhibited? But you see, this EC, we are following them like something. All the meetings they've been having, all the things they've been doing, we have an eagle eye on the EC. It is the reason sometimes they get so shocked how the NDC was doing this and discovering this. Now we use a very sophisticated software to audit both the voter register as was given to us and as was being exhibited. Even before we could complete, we realized that first of all, in Tamale, about 38 people had been transferred to Pusiga. If you know the distance between Tamale and Pusiga, there was no way you would even go and vote in the morning. And how would you even know that if your vote or if your name is not in Tamale, it was not anywhere in the northern region, but you have to go to another region? When we raised it, initially we told them that this is what was happening. The EC said it is never true. Our system, then again, abusing the word, is so robust that nobody could do this, and that by law you could only transfer a voter if that voter was present. I have done a voter transfer before. You must go to the EC and be physically present and be captured, because the law anticipated that you will have very dishonest people like J. Mensa and Bossman who will sit in the comfort of their offices and just look at people they don't like and will take Mr. Honorable Donko from Pru East and then bring them to my constituency, Kruwo. And so you ought to be physically present. The 38 people that were transferred from Tamale South to Pusiga did not say that they wanted their voter transferred. When we raised it, Bossman Asari said, it is not true. They thought we were just saying something because the MPP is used to making sweeping statements. Then we provided them with the specific list. Then they said that, oh, then it is only the 38. Then we are correcting it, 38. The joke of it. As if we are kids, as if we are children, as if the EC thinks that we are all as dumb as they are, for want of a better expression. Because I cannot for my life think about why the EC will give this response to us. First, they say it is not true. The NDC could not have detected that. You know why? Because the essence of a voter exhibition is not to detect the irregularities that the NDC has detected. And I'll go through with us the various irregularities we've detected. The essence is for you to just see whether, first of all, your name is on the register. Secondly, whether your details have been captured rightly. So if my name is, my official name is Beatrice Annan Few. It's not hyphenated. Some people write and hyphenate it. And so the voter register or exhibition will afford me the opportunity to see whether my name has been spelled correctly, whether my date of birth has been captured rightly and all that. And if there is any issue, I will just give it. There is no way any political party in the past has used the voter exhibition to detect the errors we have detected. And so this should tell every Ghanaian and the EC that the mistakes of 2020 will not repeat itself in 2024. So when we went to the EC, they were wondering, because they themselves knew that my mere exhibition, you could not have detected this error. So how did you detect it? The NDC showed the EC our methodology. We explained to them how we detected this, so that they will know that we are not sleeping. so that they will know that the kind of rigging and machination they did in 2020, we have an eagle eye on them. Again, the EC had deliberately deleted the names of people who have legally registered. About 3,957 people's names have been completely excluded or deleted from the register for no fault of theirs. It is not the case that the people had done double registration. These were people who voted in 2020, but for some reason, in very specific places, they have deleted names of people. And when we tallied, it brought us to 3,957 people. The EC said, oh, it must have been an oversight. Then we were transferring the data from 2020 to 2024, and we probably made a mistake and we deleted it. Another cock and bull story. So we have identified 3,957. How many more have been deleted? That's because now the EC has two source voter register. The one they gave to the NDC, the one they exhibited. So where is the third source? Could there be a fifth source? Could there be a 10th source? Then the EC also, out of the list, 2,094 were names that have been transferred, but those names are not on the absent list. So this is how we do it. If you live in, let's say, Tamale South, and then you transfer your vote from Tamale South to Tesano here where we find ourselves, what we do is that in Tamale South, because you have transferred your vote from that place, they must have what we call the absent list, so that on the day of voting you can't go back to Tamale South and vote. And all the political parties have that list, so that we know that Beatrice transferred her vote from Tamale South to Tesano. So Beatrice cannot vote in Tamale South. So we have that absent list. And even at the time of tallying the pink sheet, we will use that absent list to determine the total number of people eligible to vote or otherwise. Because we have to subtract the absent list from the total number of voters. So you had the EC saying that 2,094 people have transferred their votes. But this absent list we will use to check whether the person has indeed transferred the vote, and for which reason will go into the total number of votes. These names are not there. Now they are saying that, and you know the worst one, over 243,000 votes which were transferred in 2020 have now been added to the 2023 transfer list. So it's not like double pardon, over 240. So as we speak, we cannot tell the total number of people who transferred their votes at the last transfer. We cannot tell. Then you have 15,000 people who have been captured as transferring their votes, but we don't know where the EC transferred their votes to. So on the day of voting, you go to Odio and you'll be told that, oh no, we don't have your name here because it's been transferred. And yet we don't know where you have been transferred to, so that if you can't find your name in Odio, you know that, okay, then I have to vote in Numwa. Let me pick a card to Numwa and go and vote. We can't find. In any case, who asked the EC to transfer names of people who were not present? And so the NDC is giving you solid basis. And this morning when I was coming, I was listening to the EC's boss, one of the EC's boss. I've forgotten his name. Let me see if I can. He has some funny name. I've forgotten the name. His argument that he was making, and I was like, God, what is happening to our country? Where can this happen? Where can this happen is that for all the things the NDC was complaining about, the reason, and so they admitted that everything the NDC said is true. That indeed they had even taken steps to correct the errors the NDC is complaining about. But all the things we have said, the reason it occurred is that they didn't have something they called the live test or lively test or something. That was a software that ought to make sure that at the time people were transferring their votes, they were really present in person. But after the NDC audited the register itself and came up with all these things, oh, they have gone to procure the software. Hey, people need to be caned in this country, eh? People practically, like literally and metaphorically, have to be caned. So now that you have gone to procure a software whose function would have been to detect people at the time of the transfer, and the transfer is over, and you've now gone to procure it, what should we do with the software? Or it is to make us feel better that, oh, we didn't have the software at the time we were doing the gerrymandering. Oh, but now we bought the software, so what should we use the software for?
Please wrap up for me.
The point is that the EC will not succeed this time around. The mistakes of 2020 will not repeat itself. And I can assure every Ghanaian who wants to vote for the NDC to be more than ever confident that the NDC this time will protect your vote. That the NDC this time will not sacrifice the sacred will of the people on the altar of peace, for there can be no peace without justice. It has never happened anywhere that a group of people will be subjected to injustices and say that in the name of peace. As we speak, the UNDP is willing to fund the audit. So the government of Ghana cannot say that they do not have money to carry out the audit the NDC is asking for. The EC cannot say that they are so independent as to rig the mandates of the people, and so they will not subject themselves to audit. And let me say that come Tuesday, the journey to having a very free, fair and credible election is starting in all 16 regions across this country. The NDC is embarking on a demonstration calculated to telling everybody, including the international community, that whatever happens in this country, the NDC has done everything democratically possible, including the advocacy as I'm doing this morning and as all others have joined in doing. The NDC has exercised its right to demonstrate and to register its displeasure about how a young democracy is being toyed with. And if the EC decides that they will not listen, that they will not respect the tenets of the Constitution, that they will not listen to all voices of reasoning, then nobody can blame the NDC. Because you would have been very responsible, and the NDC has demonstrated a lot of responsibility in the past. The NPP must know that they are only clutching onto straws. The BNI, or now NIB, has conducted their own polls. They have told the NPP they are losing the election, which polls we all have access to. They are not just losing the presidential, they are losing the parliamentary as well. Info Analytics is telling them that they are losing EIU, which has never got any predictions wrong when it comes to our election from 1992, has told the NPP they are losing. But you see, it's not even about the polls and the books. When Dr. Bawumia goes to the ground and does his campaign, He sees very well that they are losing. In recent times, he was in the shrine where they were pouring whether blood or whatever on his leg, and all of a sudden he doesn't believe in Islam and he's gone to this thing.
Sure.
Even there, he knows that they are losing the election. And so no amount of machination and gerrymandering, but in the first place, we will not even allow it to happen. And we will follow them even to the day of election. And so I want all Ghanaians to rally behind the NDC, including the Alliance for Change. Everybody should rally behind the NDC together with one voice, and let's tell the MPP that you cannot come to power and make the lives of the citizens worse. You cannot come to power and loot our land. This morning I was listening to Okujato and how presidential and politically exposed persons have grabbed all the lands. Now they are on the trade fair lands.
Okay.
You cannot come to power and dissipate our resources and say that I will not allow the people to choose their government. That we will resist with all our might and with all our will.
Thank you very much.